Welcome to the Driven Agenda podcast, where raw journeys drive ambition and reveal the fuel behind people's success. I'm Shannon Sagan, a personal injury lawyer, entrepreneur, and founder of the Dashcam Lawyer. This podcast is all about being driven, focused, motivated, and determined to reach your goals and setting an agenda that pushes you forward. We bring you insights from top players in business, sports, real estate, investing, health, and more. Here, we dive into what it really takes to thrive with candid conversations that cut through the noise and get to the heart of people's success. Live, another episode of the Driven Agenda, a podcast. And I have my friend here, Vincent Cuomo, but no one knows him as Vincent. It's Vinny, right?
Yes.
Vinny Cuomo, unless in the professional world, he's Vincent. But Vinny Cuomo, big name here in Palm Beach County in South Florida.
If you say so.
He is a professional. He's a financial planner, advisor, has been doing that forever. Has a great firm. He's going to get into that. And Vinny puts on some of the biggest networking events here in Palm Beach County and in South Florida, in my opinion, out of anybody. And he does a phenomenal job with it. I want to talk about a lot of things related to it because it's community-based. It's giving back. It's volunteering. It's raising money for charities. It's relationship building and face-to-face. There's a lot of aspects in what he's doing. So first off, welcome, my friend. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. A little nervous, but
everybody's nervous.
I don't love public speaking, which is shocking for some people.
Either do I, actually. I'm a lawyer. I don't. I get nervous too every time we do this. I don't feel nervous today though, because I don't know. You and I know each other.
Yeah.
But what was funny is this podcast was supposed to happen weeks and weeks ago, and we were getting a new roof here in the building. And so week one, I had to cancel that morning. I felt bad. And then week two approaches, and they literally waited till the last section of the building, which was my office, to do all the hammering and banging. So we had to put it off again, but we are here, and there is no banging, no loudness, and we're ready to roll. Really quick, can you just tell the audience a little bit about your background as far as what you do career-wise and how they could find you there?
I'm a wealth advisor. I have a business that I own with two of my partners. It's called Pursuit Wealth Management. We're located in Palm Beach Gardens. We're a full financial service company, which means we do financial planning all the way to taking care of your investments, to setting up retirement accounts, to evaluating your company and helping you sell your company if that needs to be.
Yeah, I like that. I know that was one of the things that you and I talked about. You also plan for business owners to be able to help them sell the business as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's fun because it's a full service. I've been in this industry for 29 years, and we wanted to build something that we had never seen before, something that was different than all the major wirehouses that we've worked at. So
right.
It's exciting. I love it.
Cool. How long you been doing it?
In the industry, 29. The companies have been around for 5 years.
Okay. So can you just do a really brief synopsis of your networking events? And then I got a lot of things I want to talk to you about and get into the details. But Vinny's known for his networking events. What are the networking events?
They are just professionals from all different ranges and fields that I've put together over the 12 years. And we meet quarterly, and we meet at usually PJ National. There's 4,500 people in the group overall. But when we meet, it's usually about 400 to 500 people at every meeting.
It's wild what he's developed, the amount of people. We just came off of his $1 million event. I'll get into that a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. And for me, it was the largest attendance that I had ever seen. You said it was
top three,
but How many people? At least
We
400?
no, we had over 500 in that room, and you have to realize it's 500 not all at one time. There's usually three levels of people coming. It's usually the early
Me?
people, yeah, just like you,
Yeah.
and then those are the really smart ones, and then there are the people who get out at 5:30 wherever they're working and get there usually between 5:30 and 6 or 6:30, and then we have the late comers, and they come like 7
As soon as they
7:30.
can.
Yeah.
My 2 cents, get there early. When you walk into that place after it's going an hour into it, holy shit.
There's an
It is
attorney.
a wall
Yeah.
of people and it's very intimidating.
There was an attorney there this last event. He was there for an hour and 15 minutes. He didn't get more than maybe 25 feet in. And he's like, I couldn't. He's like, I just constantly ran into people or people came up to me. I could not get into the event.
I have never left the area that I've started with in the last couple years. So when I saw you the other day, I was one of the first there, ran right to someone I knew, never left that area for the 2 hours because you're right. Once you get to a level like me and you, where we start knowing a lot of people, you don't even have to walk around,
Yeah.
which
I would
guess
make
is
a,
good. I don't know.
if there's
You,
enough,
I know you have to make your rounds.
I do. I
I
have to
literally
check on
just
everybody.
stay there and
Let me make a recommendation to you. The next time you come, if there's at least 50 people there, head to the other side of the bar first, the furthest away, and
right.
work your way back over. Because you'll hit people that you would not have gotten to by hitting that back end, and then you'll work your way all the way to the people that are stuck at the front.
Yep. Good idea.
So,
Okay, good to know. So let's back up. 12 years ago, where does this idea come about? Why are we doing it? What was our goal?
it really is more than 12 years ago. It was something that drew an interest to me and started in my junior year of high school. We had a couple of county commissioners go to jail. Not sure if you remember that story.
Oh, I knew of one of them. I knew the daughter of one of them.
And being the person I am and the way I was raised, I was very disappointed in my community that I would go home and watch on CNN or any of the nationals that our community is being talked about in a certain way. And I was concerned about the wrong people getting business and growing it and controlling it. And I always said to myself, the way I'm raised, I'll never be able to be bought. Okay. Nothing can ever happen to that in my character.
Right.
So I said, who is the person that determines who gets the business? I want to be that person. And whatever I do in the future, I want to be in a position that I can kind of help those people, make sure the right people are getting the business because I'm eventually going to have children and I want to leave a better place than when I found it.
Okay.
So that was always the idea. I start my career and just trying to build up my career and trying to just survive during some crazy periods of time in the market. And I got to a point where things got a little bit leveled off. And how the network started was I had worked at Merrill Lynch for a while and then as things got a little bit more difficult, I started to go into banking. And the first day I was in banking, they gave me these 2 binders on the new guidelines that were now controlled by a different entity. The entity that I used to be under, the SEC, is very progressive. And so everything was online and easy done. This new one called the OCC was very old school. And as I started to read some of these rules, some of them were from the 1800s, I started to question whether I made the right decision. So I called 2 friends of mine. One is a personal injury lawyer and one was a contract lawyer. And I said, Yard House had just opened up. I said, I think I made the wrong decision. I need a drink. So would you mind coming out, spending some time with me and just hearing what's going on? They said yes. We went to Yard House. They did not know each other, which I always thought was interesting, how these 2 mega attorneys don't know each other in this community. And when we got there, I introduced them. They started talking shop the entire time. No one talked to me. 2 hours later, I go, I'm going to go home and see my wife. At least she'll cheer me up. So I leave. The next morning, I'm driving to work, and the personal injury attorney tells me, I owe you big. And I said, okay, what's going on? He goes, that guy just referred me a case. I think it's $1 million case.
Oh,
At this time,
wow.
I'm working at a bank that works with lawyers.
Mhm.
And I know they get a certain fee,
Yep.
and I was counting up what that fee would be, and that fee would stay with them in our bank. I was like, it just makes no sense that you don't know each other. He goes, well, personal injury attorneys kind of hang out with each other, and these lawyers kind of hang. That's a terrible business model. But what I had at this bank was I had all of the Rolodex of all the lawyers because it was the lawyer bank. And I was like, man, if I start putting these guys together and they start generating business, it stays inside the bank and it helps them. And we started it. Maybe 2 weeks later, I was like, I'm going to just put a couple guys together and see how this works. And we went with 12 people to Yard House, and that was the start of my professional networking group.
So Yard House it is, and then what happens? You move venues as you start getting bigger?
Yeah, so it grows really good because everybody's like, this is amazing. I'm meeting people, and you're vetting everyone
I was
that
going to
comes in.
say, you vet.
I vet every single person that comes into that door. So I'm vetting and making sure it's the right people that I know that they're looking for. And business is starting to grow. And it's getting to the point where we can't fit in Yard House. So now we have to figure out, what are we going to do? And I'm trying to find a place, a restaurant or something. And a friend of mine at that time worked in the industry and said, why don't you look at PGA National? Over to PGA National and looked at the room, and I was like, man, this would be pretty cool. The bar's dead in the middle, and everybody can
Right
work
in the
around
lobby.
And it's a different feel.
Yeah.
Right. And lawyers like that. So I just started to work with them. It started to grow, 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 grow. It got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I helped fester and build it to a point where it really took off. It was like throwing lighter fluid on a fire.
Yep.
It just boom.
One thing that neither of us mentioned, I don't think, is your networking events always have a charitable aspect to it. So you do them quarterly, pretty much, but then you have a charity that you pick each time. When did that start? How did that come about?
So that started in year 10. So as it was starting to grow, a very close friend of mine suggested, why don't you tie it to a nonprofit, and I'll try and help that. And I said, I want to try and stick to children because that's something that most people wouldn't disagree on.
Right.
Trying to help out. And the first one was the Community Back to School Bash way back when. And we just tried to raise some funds to help those that are needy for school supplies leading into this new school year. And I just said, man, it had such a great response that people wanted to help. I was like, we should do this because it could really help community. And then I started to focus on which nonprofits I wanted to work with. And it has just grown exponentially since then.
You've had media involved. Some of the biggest news stations get involved in your events.
Yeah. We've had the local news from the different channels. We've had the Palm Beach Post. There's these media outlets like the Florida Weekly, a bunch of different other magazines. What was really interesting was when we had somebody who was running for governor was with around a bunch of attorneys, and they were like, this is the place you should go to if you're really running for governor. They ended up showing up also because they had heard that this was the spot to be at.
Yeah, you've got the judges, obviously the lawyers, it's chiropractors and doctors.
Yeah,
A lot of people in the personal injury world. But then what I like about it, because I'm out everywhere, but I don't really go to a lot of networking or night networking events. And what I like about yours is I'm always meeting one or two people outside of my industry that I have end up having some type of really cool connection with, do a lunch with, and sometimes it's developed into business. So for me, I like your event, and because it's not every month either, so kind of look forward to it. And I always get something out of it. I love it.
I appreciate it. It's all about, that's what feeds me. There's two things that make me motivated. It's, I want to make an impact on my community.
Right.
That's the most important thing to me. Okay. Because I need to leave a better place. That's all I want to do. So every single night before I go to bed, as I lay my head down, every single night religiously, I sit down and ask, have I done something positive for my family? Have I done something positive for my company? And have I done something positive for the community? And if I haven't done one of those three, I make sure the next day to focus on that one I'm missing out on. So this is important. This is the focus of what I want to do. I want to help people just like you. I know you're a good person. Let's see what we can do and help each one of these people and
Yeah.
just expand it from there.
Yeah, your events they're multifaceted as far as helping because you've got the charity that benefits, you've got the people meeting each other, um, raising money. So let's talk about the community and your recent accomplishment. So the last event you just had the other day was your $1 million night. Is that what it was called?
Yeah,
Something.
Vinny Cuomo's $1 million party.
And $1 million party because you have helped raise $1 million for all of these local charities by doing your events, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
That's,
So
I mean, that's absolutely wild. I
try
raised
being
15 grand for my car giveaway, and that was hard enough. And I thought that was a lot of money, but 7 figures, man, that's like just unbelievable.
if you could understand what goes on in my head, it's so crazy. I'm just a kid from Brooklyn who grew up in Jupiter, Florida, who
Who loved hip hop or loves hip hop?
Yes, that's another whole
You taught me 50 Cent's real name.
no method.
No, Method Man's real name. Yep.
Yes. So you would never think the people who knew me when I was younger would never think what I've accomplished. And it's funny because one of my old bosses was there the other night, and I looked at him and I said, "Can you believe this?" And he goes, "I would have never imagined that you were able to do this." He goes, "I knew what kind of person you were deep down inside, but this is amazing." And so for me, I'm just living a dream. I feel like I'm going to wake up sooner or later. Like, this is a dream. Let's wake up. And you can't do this. But, it's happening and it's amazing. And if I can make this impact, think about what somebody in a better situation with more contacts than I have, they can do. Anybody can do anything.
Yeah.
That's basically what this should be about.
Well, what's absolutely impressive is the amount of people that consistently show up, the amount of people in your network, and then again, the amount of money that you're raising. And your events aren't you don't charge for the events. You don't get anything out of it like monetarily.
No.
I assume
they do. So one time just one event, I tried to quantify what was built business-wise for everyone else, not me. And I made calls for about 2 months after it. And we exceeded over $100 million. Think about that for 1 second. A one-time meeting between accounts transferring or cases transferring or this person's picking up the payroll for somebody or this. And it boggled my mind. Think about that. $100 million.
It's a massive economic impact for people in Palm Beach County here.
It doesn't make sense when you think it's coming from me. It's crazy.
So I imagine when you first started this, there was the business aspect of it, like you kind of mentioned, like, hey, if I connect people, then they might do business with my bank.
That was the secondary part of it,
Right.
obviously, because you want to make sure you're making numbers. It's also helpful for me to now get well known in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then also the somewhat, and I know this is going to not sound great, but control the commerce to make sure it's the right people. That is my key.
I don't think it sounds weird. I agree with you. So in other words, one of your few rules is you don't want people coming in that compete in your industry.
That's one of them. I also vet every single person. And my vetting isn't just like, hey, give me your name. I do a bunch of research on you.
Right.
I make sure people know you and you have a really good reputation in the community.
Right.
So if you walk into my event ever, you could know, even if it's your first time, most of the people in here, he knows by first name. I know everyone in that room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know a lot about them. And I make sure there have been times when we've had to remove people.
That snuck in or that?
No, that just over time were the wrong people.
Okay. Makes sense.
Snuck in, always we remove those two.
Yeah.
But
so heavily vetted. This isn't like a free-for-all type thing.
no.
You can't get in without emailing you.
It's a private invite.
And let's talk about the back end, because people don't realize the back end of putting on events. You just show up. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for doing this, Vinny. It's really nice of you. And then you get to go home. But you've got weeks of planning ahead of time. You bring your daughter in. She's so lovely, sitting there at the table all night, helping people out. And then there's the breakdown, closing everything out, and you're staying there till late. So what are all the things that go behind the scene that you're not getting paid for to do this?
Hours and hours of work. Let's put it this way. I, my company, we don't hire anyone to do this.
Yeah.
It's not
It's
company
all
run.
on your private email, actually.
This is private. Okay. This is something I built way before I started the company. Okay. So just to send one email takes about 35 minutes because there's only so many emails that you can put in a grouping. I don't have a mass email account that I do that with. And so just that amount of time, but then just scheduling everything, organizing everything. It's hours and hours and hours.
Replying to emails and
RSVPs,
creating the labels,
everything,
the name tags.
everything. I do everything. And the reason why I do that only is I started initially in the beginning having somebody help me.
And they're screwing up.
Yeah. And I said, this is my reputation.
Yeah.
I cannot let it go. And at some point, hopefully I can find someone. My daughter is very good because she's very much like me. So she wants perfection. And I'm starting to get more comfortable allowing her to do some stuff. But it's very hard to give up something that you want to run and you know how it should run.
Right.
When somebody doesn't care as much as you do. And
of course.
So when it doesn't.
It's a business.
Yeah. And when they don't do it right, it reflects directly on me.
Yeah.
And that time, people came in and they were kind of like disappointed on some of the things that happened. So.
You're being recognized, I think the 23rd, December 23rd,
Yep.
at an FAU game.
Yes.
For your contribution to this community and for your $1 million achievement. Tell me a little bit about that.
So it's an award that they give to citizens who have raised funds for Spirit of Giving. And I have raised this recently a little over $56,000 most recently, and the year before that I think it was $52,000. So in the last year and a half to 2 years, they've gotten a little over $100,000.
Oh wow!
This organization, which is a great organization, and they were very kind to award me the award and tell me about it, and I will be showing up at halftime at the Boca Bowl to receive it.
Nice.
And I'll be nervous just as I am right now.
There will be a lot more people with eyes on you there than here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, but yes, fortunately.
I just lost my train of thought. So charities that you've worked with so far with your events, any of them that were extra memorable? Not that we're trying to favor a certain charity over another, but anything that was
they're
memorable
all
for you?
amazing and they're all different. So it's like working with a different company. So you have the different personalities and know what they're doing. The most memorable thing that happened to me was with the Back to School Bash. I got invited. So what ends up happening is we raise money or school supplies, and then they give it to the underprivileged children of Palm Beach County. And then they organize 4 locations throughout the county. And the school board sends out notices saying, okay, if you're in this area, you're welcome to come and get some school supplies. And then they bus them in with their parent. So I got to go. And I saw this, I was allowed to be a volunteer. So I had to take a child, and you go through the entire system of picking out all their school supplies. They give you a list of what they most likely will need for that school year. But they make the parents stay out, which is, I think, amazing. So I took this child off the bus from his mother, and we started walking around. And I'm just playing around with him and trying to have a good time. And he was excited, and then he started to get really upset and started to cry. And it's my first time, and I'm like, what did I do? I thought I did something.
Yeah.
And it turns out we went over to another volunteer who was supervising, and she was just asking him, trying to comfort him. And he was just so excited that he did not have to ask his mother to get all the school supplies that he just got emotional.
Right.
And that just changed everything for me. I was like, listen, I'm all in.
Yeah. That's so you do the Back to School Bash every year.
Yep.
This one was the most successful out of every year, right? The one
Yes.
we just had in August.
Yeah, that was the one we did.
Do you remember how much you raised?
56,000.
Okay.
Yep.
And what you do, which is creative as well, is in addition to people being able to donate, you will also have companies as sponsors as well. So it gets the word out. So it's an extra way to generate money for the charities. Also, is by having different law firms or companies
Of
sponsor.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're monetizing it in multiple ways to get as much money as you can for these charities.
Not only that,
Um,
giving these companies the
yeah.
allowance to get their name out there because
Right.
letting people know these companies are contacted into the community. They want to do
Yep.
something.
I know you've got coming up. Paul Shalhoub's got the no shave thing
Yep.
that you do with
That's
him.
December 2nd. Will be so the entire month of November. We have 20 headliners growing their beards, trying to raise money. And then at the end of the month, we will shave off their beards. And then whoever has the most money raised, they'll win an award. And it's just a fun time. It's a
Yeah.
great event.
It's cool.
And it's for Cancer Alliance of Help and Hope here.
Yep.
And all the money stays here locally.
Yeah, it's a good. Paul was telling me about that charity. It's a good charity.
It's a great charity.
Local here, and it's not like one of the big ones
Yep.
that you see. The Vinny, 10 years ago, he walks into your event last Thursday. What's he saying?
He's blown away. You won't believe it. I mean,
like, holy shit.
Yeah, you have to understand. I think of myself. This is probably not the thing to say on this, but as a street kid, I literally grew up in the streets. Okay, and so for me to do this, it's funny. I have some really good friends, and we talk about these things about like going into these mega meetings, and like you're freaking out. Like this is a huge meeting. This could be a $5 million account or this, that. Like, how do you do it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you suppress? Like, and you have to realize, like, everybody's been there before, right? We all come from this, and you just be genuine, and that's what networking is about.
Genuine, humble.
Yep. Yeah. If you're doing it for the right reasons, right, and you're not greedy, this is to really help other people. It will all come to you, and that's where I've been blessed.
I want to talk about that in a minute. I have found that my roles have shifted a little bit going to your event. Years ago, it was strictly business. Now I find that I'm trying to mentor younger people who are either in my BNI or younger lawyers, and kind of helping them network, helping them introduce them to people at your event, because it can be overwhelming. And I get a lot of joy out of that. I want to talk about face-to-face networking, old school, right?
Mm-hmm.
What we're from, because I know the younger generations, they're more texting, maybe some phone, social media. But what's your opinion about the power and the necessity to be doing face-to-face as well?
That's the connection. So networking through, technology is, you can only dip so far into it, but you'll never make the connection that you can when I can look you in your eyes and listen to you and remember you the next time I walk. Like there's certain things that I've developed over the years of doing this for so many years. That's why I can get people to come.
Right.
Or I can walk into any room and talk to anyone. Although I'm nervous to talk publicly in front, but if you put me in a room with 500 people, I'll work the entire room.
Right.
I like that. That's my thing about connections. And if you're genuine and you're just trying to learn about them and then you're trying to help them, people realize that you're not the typical person that they're used to dealing with, that you're putting yourself first. You're self-sacrificing yourself to say, let me help you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're being selfless. What can I do to connect you?
Right.
And I have been told numerous times over the years that I am one of the best connectors out there. I will find out what you're doing or what you're trying to find and find the next person that I know you need to meet and put you two together.
Yeah, I don't know, most of my friends, you definitely know more than anyone else, and you are right. You are a connector. You're always looking to help out people, try to find the right person for them. You've done it for me numerous times. Anytime I need something, you got a guy.
Yeah, we just talked about it today.
Yes,
literally.
What are some tips for people who say, I'm an introvert or this stuff scares me, going to networking events? What have you learned over the years, things that you could tell people to try to overcome their fears and to try it out, try your event out?
Okay. So, like I told you, I'm not the greatest with public speaking, right? So that's my weakness. So I had to overcome being able to go up to someone and just talk to them. The first thing is confidence. It it leads you out, and you could smell it or feel it, right? Even if it's not there, you got to portray that you're comfortable with yourself because they people can sense that uneasiness. Okay. The other thing is try and find something in common with them. And what I've tried to develop over the years of sales is dropping that wall that everyone puts up. It's the hardest thing in sales. But what do people like to do in sales? They like to work with their
People they,
friends or
yeah,
people they're comfortable
I
with.
like trust.
So I had to learn something, a little about something in every industry over time. And I just developed this. Like engineering is something I know nothing about. It's not my world. And I would pick up things just from talking to other engineers and just store it in my head. And the
Mhm.
next time I had a conversation with that engineer, I'd be like, oh, yeah, by the way, I had a question for you about this. And that engineer starts to go into it and he starts talking about in his comfort level and it drops that wall.
Yeah, because you're asking an original question. You're asking one that shows that they care about, like you care about them and what they're doing
And it's what
versus
they're interested in.
what do you do and where are you from? Which is
When
kind
you
of default.
when you talk, don't you like to talk about the things that you like?
Yes,
Okay. So when it's something that you're interested in, you're going to start rolling.
of course.
And if somebody's inquisitive or interested or shows interest, you're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, what about this? Or have you learned about this or this? Let me tell you about this or that. It's kind of like when somebody asked me about finance.
So how does that work? Let's say you've got it memorized for certain areas
It's
of
not,
careers.
it's an interest. So what ended up happening, what I wasn't good at became interesting to me to learn.
Hmm.
And so somebody was talking about nuclear engineering or any type of engineering, but let's just use the nuclear engineering. I started to learn. I just started asking them questions. And I took all that information. I was like, wow, it's so interesting. I just stuck it in almost like a file in my head.
Right.
And I pull out for every industry something. And it will literally at least get into a comfort level that I can at least talk.
So you can do that for somebody that say you don't know them, but you find out their career right away and you have something, or if you know them, you want to go straight to something personal that you know they like, um,
So
or
say,
if
for
you're their
instance, you're at
acquaintance.
an event that's specific in an industry, then you're going to know I can use it there. Okay.
Right.
Say if you're sitting and somebody comes up to you and they specifically tell you what they do immediately. But for somebody who doesn't tell you immediately, you have to kind of know how to work that conversation to lead into that.
Right.
That is a very special tool, very hard to develop.
I find for me, I'm very vulnerable and I don't care if maybe it's embarrassing or if I feel a question stupid, but I remember especially in the beginning, like you're saying, you're public speaking, you don't like doing that. You've said it twice already, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you know, but the biggest fear of human beings is public speaking. So
I didn't know that.
yeah, you're in a group with most people
Yeah.
in the world, and I have it too. Been a lawyer forever, trials, court, hearing, still get nervous. But my point is like what if you say come up to a group, like if some young person or an introvert the first time there, I don't even think there's anything wrong with saying, hey, you know what, this is my first time doing this, and I think most people are going to understand. They're going to help you out and even actually help you talk, right?
Without a doubt. So
At least the people at
my
your group.
events, I can tell you how to work my events. Different event, it depends on each event. But for my event, if you walk in, what's one of the keys that you know? Everyone there knows me. What they all do is they know me in a different way. I
Right.
have people from school, people I grew up with, people in the business area, my own family, church, you name it, we have it there. So I tell people, your first time there, if you're uncomfortable, just know everyone's here. Walk up to somebody and say, hey, my name is this. I know Vinny from here, blah, 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 whatever it is. How do you know him? It's
Yep.
an interesting story that will lead you to how they know me. Some of the stories I don't like being out there, but they're out there. But that's an icebreaker.
Yep.
And so you kind of have to develop an icebreaker. You can start with, "Hi, this is my first time
Hmm.
here. I'm whatever it is, and then it depends on where you are. But you have to have that little bit of confidence
Yes.
to be able to walk up there.
And it's not easy doing this stuff.
It
It
is
takes
extremely hard.
practice
Yeah.
and repetitiveness. It's no different than starting at the gym, right? What's one of the hardest parts to start? Actually getting your ass up and driving to the gym and going in and doing it, right?
Without a doubt.
And that's the same thing with your events. Drive your ass to the event, walk inside,
Yep.
and now you're committed. You're nervous as hell, but I'm telling you, after a little while, you're going to get to know everybody. You keep coming to the events, and it gets easier and easier. But yeah, the face-to-face type stuff is extremely important, I think, for most industries. Even if your industry is heavy social media and tech, you still got to develop connections for all kinds of stuff
Without a doubt.
face to face, right?
That business is still made that way with connections.
Yep.
So figure out what your motivation is. My motivation was I used to want to walk in a room and be like, I want to kind of know every single person in this room.
And now it's
Or
there.
let's say my first time that I really stood out, this is the way I got the job at the bank. The gentleman who was running the bank locally, he had known me for a while, and then I disappeared and went to Merrill. And then I came back and I sponsored a Justice Association event. And there was a gentleman by the name of Bob Montgomery there who was like the most well-known personal injury attorney and
Yep.
very, very famous.
Old school legend.
Yeah. And so here I come walking in as a 20-something-year-old or young 20-something-year-old. And he's in the middle of a conversation. I walked right up to them. And
Wow.
I said, I know who he was. I said, hey, Mr. Montgomery, my name is Vinny Cuomo. I wanted to introduce myself because I want you to remember me next time I see you. And the guy who was running the bank was in the conversation with him with another major lawyer, and he just looked at me. And then about 2 years later, he had saw me do this multiple times to other people. And he's like, man, I've been looking for somebody like you who could just talk to these guys and didn't pay attention to their, aura and just said, I want to meet you or I want to talk to you. And it's a respect thing. And that's how I got in the door.
So before you met all these people and had all these friends, you were doing that. You're walking up to strangers and just kind of trying to break the ice.
You just have to be comfortable in your
Right.
own skin. You literally have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Uncomfortable, comfortable, right? So whatever they call it, something like that.
Yeah. You need to know that whatever you are and whatever you feel, that's okay. Just go up to
Right.
them. Everybody's human. And what I used to say, he puts pants on the same way as I do. What makes him better than me?
You're so right. I remember seeing Chris Searcy at a CLE when I was a young lawyer, and it's always stuck in my head how he said he still would get sick walking into court after all those years. And I was like, damn, this guy's the best, arguably one of the best lawyers in the country, even years ago when I was there. And he's saying, like, I still get nervous as shit
Yeah.
walking into a courtroom.
Yeah.
And so you're like, no way. Because, some of these people you put them on a pedestal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so knowing that, and if you go into that confidence, just so you know, Bob Montgomery, like a year later, is like, I've never met a boy like you before. You have to understand how he talks. He's like, I've never met a boy like you
Southern
before.
drawl.
Yeah. And he's like, you just walked right up to me and you had no problems. Like, you're just a person just like I am.
Yep.
And so I would try and find that confidence if you were an introvert and just try it. And it's going to take step by step by step. Use some of the ideas I just talked about. Start taking the information down, put them into files. Try and remember people. People love when you remember them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But yeah, you go back to your next event and
Yeah.
you see that person.
So I always tell people the second time you come, go find the last 5 people you talked to and remember the conversation. Go back up to them and remind them. Say, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Last time I was here, we talked about this. Do you remember me? And see if they remember you. And if they don't, that's okay. You keep doing that, they will remember you.
Yeah.
I promise.
Is there a specific person, not naming names, but someone that you can remember over the years that was like just panicked with fear and you've seen them just completely come out of their shell? And
Yeah,
just
there's
kill it?
somebody, I'm not going to tell you who it is
Yeah.
because I don't want to out them, but they would get the sweats really, really bad. And they would shake my hand because they knew me.
You could feel it.
And I was like, oh, please don't. But what are you going to do? But over time, I tried to help them. And they just watched me. So you know how I walk people around
Yeah,
sometimes?
you're always
I'll do,
walking.
and,
Yep.
I sometimes will take people and I'll introduce them
Yeah.
and I'll leave them. I was doing that with them over a period of time, and then it just like clicked, and they started to do it themselves. And now, if I told you who that person is, you'd be like, wow, I would never have thought that person is that, because that's an amazing turnaround. They just gave it time and they
Patience,
patience and
practice.
practice.
Yeah. Again, it's like anything. It's like that initial going to a gym.
Yeah. It's like, I know you're into fighting. Is you gotta practice. You gotta know what you're doing and keep doing it. It's an art.
Yep.
And you gotta stay on point. Networking is not just, hey, I get to meet people, take business cards, and go home. It's that connection that we talked about. It's the follow up.
I was just going to say, so the next key to it is follow up.
Yes.
I'm somewhat good at it. I grabbed all my cards the other night and I'm just starting to reach out to the people, but yes. So what are some pointers as far as follow-up's concerned that you think people should know?
So this is a big key. Everyone I met, I actually put in my head that they're my personal friend. I got to know everything I could about them, took them back out again, or saw them again and got more information. Kind of started to know and build a file. They like this team. They're interested in this hobby. And anytime I saw anything, I would respond, hey, I just saw this.
Right.
Just letting you know, these people know that like I'm thinking about them. And I am. Every one of the people, you're all my friends. Okay. And so I literally care about each one of you. And when I see anything, I want you to know I'm thinking about you and I send it. It's not because I need you to send me more business. That's going to happen because you're going to like me over time. What it is showing you my friendship. And so I would say think out of the box and do out of the box things. Do different things than anybody else has done and make an impression in that way. Okay.
But
with the information
key though, right?
The most important thing is data. Okay. This is the most important. I mean, we're digging down in how my head works. I ask everyone, feed me data. Let me decide what I do with it. So I have friends that work at law firms, doctor offices, any type of business, and we'll just chit chat and you'll tell me something. You'll never even know that I stuck it in the back of my head. Not about a company, not about somebody's license, just
something random
that you would never know that I picked up on while I was listening to you, because I listen to every conversation. I'm not distracted. When you're telling me something, I'm listening to it like you're my brother. Okay. And then I take that information, I put it in the back of my head. Okay. And then it goes back there and I either think about it later on. I'm like, how does that work in something that I need to reach out to that person or care about them? Should I check on them? All the different ways that you could think. Okay. But data is the most important. And I ask everyone to feed it to me, whether you know it or not. I'm taking it from you.
I know of one or two lawyers in town who have gotten in a good habit of when they get back from whatever it is they're doing, meeting someone, that they'll write down those key things. I have not been that disciplined in doing that. And I don't have as good of memory as you do about putting things in the back of your head. There's certain things I can, but the other night I talked to 30 people in 2 hours. So
yeah. I'm a little different than everyone else. I'll remember the first time I met you, what you were wearing, what we talked about. Now, that's a whole different story why that is and happened, but I have a special thing that happened to me when I was younger that caused that to happen, and I can remember everything in that way.
So people that don't have that impressive skill like you, I guess
I would get in the car,
try to haul ass into the car and write down as much as you can remember of the people you talk to.
Or take your phone out. As soon as you walk away from that person, you have notes right there. Just write a note real quick. Okay. Something that will make you remember it later on. Because then once you remember it 2 or 3 times, it's in your head.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good pointer for me too, because I do know everybody, but again, there's new people. And usually I'll just hit them up the next day or so with grabbing a lunch or something if I'm interested.
And that's great because then that feeds more data and
that's
information.
kind of how I do it. I'm such a lunch, breakfast, coffee person versus your event's really one of the only night ones that I go to. Just don't have time. My kids do stuff at night. But I'm a big lunch follow-up type person.
Just remember, take all that information, try and remember that.
Yeah.
Put them in there and think about them. And when that thing comes back up again, you're going to be like, I saw this article. Or their team won. Congratulations to your team. It's those little things that you do that separate you from everyone else.
Yep. And make you memorable.
Yeah, you want to be completely unique, unlike somebody else.
So we come off a huge successful event. Do we have now a $2 million goal? Do we have a goal of
Y-
doubling the attendance? Where do we
Gosh, I
see
don't
where do we
even
see this thing 10 years from now?
really handing it off to someone.
I'm gonna be
'Cause
retired. You're not gonna see me.
That's what
I'll show up at the bar part.
I,
Hopefully, I'll be retired.
so a couple of things. One, I want to make a goal of, it took us 10 years to hit the million. I'd like to hit another million in 5. I think we'll easily do it. Let's hope.
Because you're getting the momentum going.
The momentum's really
More
growing, and the
people
numbers are
yeah.
growing, and
So 2 million in 5 years, that's aggressive, but it's definitely doable now that you got the
we'll
system
see.
down, right?
We'll see what we can do.
How about attendance though? I mean, there's some point, like I said,
You're gonna laugh. 'Cause
I made a
was just thinking
mistake.
about
I am
this.
not showing up at your event an hour into it. I will not do it. It is just absolutely so intimidating to see that massive wall of people. So I couldn't imagine that being doubled. What's your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, I don't think I can double it, because what ends up happening is, remember, there's 4,500 people in the email. Everyone's professionals and they have family. So it's who of the 500 can make it this day, with
Right.
all the other events going on that
Yeah.
are, so you're limited. Can we probably grow it a little bit more? Yeah. What I'd like to really do is make it even more special for the people that are there. And so there's conversations in my head of really digging out to the right people in the community that I know that can try and take this to the next level, connection wise, and really have an impact in the community.
Is that something you're looking to get going as we approach the new year?
Potentially.
Okay.
I don't want to
Yeah,
give you
yeah.
all my plans, and then the 10-year plan is, I've thought about this for a while. I'm looking for the right person, personality wise and character wise, to hand this whole thing off.
Why?
At some point will retire,
Okay.
and
Because of
at
retirement, but
that point, it's time to hand the baby off and see what the next person can take it to,
makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
And what they can impact.
Some big shoes to fill down the road.
There's got to be somebody out there.
But there's someone.
They
Yeah.
would have ever thought me. It's
I mean, I've only known you from that.
and the things that
So,
you
to
know
me, it's
about
just
me when I
natural.
was younger, just even though you didn't know me then,
Yeah.
you started to scratch the surface and learn a little bit about me. You would never have thought
Yeah.
that guy at this point in his life.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm willing to take anyone. I just want to find, it's got to be the right person. I think it'll be a sign that will show me this is the right person. And over time, I'll get to know them
Right.
and really dig in, because you guys are all my family. And I don't say that as a joke. Like, you are my brother. Everyone that comes to my events, I really do care about them. I want nothing but success for them. And I want our community to be the best community it could possibly be. And I want the next person who takes this over to take it to the next level and really, really make a huge impact
Yep.
in the community.
And take it serious like you have been.
Serious or to the next level, just make sure that you're making the right decisions to impact the community
Yeah.
in the right way, not
Right.
the wrong way.
Now, it's obvious you're getting business from this too. That wasn't your initial goal, but I mean, anytime you're putting on a massive thing of 4,500 people, you're going to get business from it.
Yes.
So that's one of the side benefits of this.
And it's built like a, I don't even know the word that you want, like a, people have heard about my name. It's put my name in people's mouths in a positive way that I never would have been able to
Right.
touch myself. So that's what it's done the biggest for me. I can go places and just make a phone call and people will pick up the phone because it's me. It's also made a lot of positive moves, made some, it's difficult, and I love all you guys. But, when we would go to the mall back in the day, my wife would used to say, well, we need to put in an extra 45 minutes because we're going to run into X amount of people. And my kids, who, when they were very little, we used to play a game of how many people will dad run into. And it's happened. Disney World's always like another 2 or 3 hour wait because of running into people. I can't go to Disney without it. But there's been some crazy places where I've been, certain faraway airports, and I'll just hear my name called. And
you're like, what?
it's crazy. It is amazing. And this is just in Florida, South Florida. I mean, we are the biggest professional networking group in South Florida, but I mean, it is South Florida.
I was going to ask that. As far as you know, is anyone doing it bigger than you?
I don't know anyone else with a group that's 4,500. There's definitely, there's no way to quantify it directly, but no one's getting the coverage that we get, raising the money that we're getting in a professional group locally that I know of. I mean, we've had the furthest person ever traveled was Jacksonville and Key West, to make a quarterly meeting.
Wow.
Okay. On a regular basis, we had people coming down from as far as away as Vero and as far south as Miami.
Okay.
So it definitely makes an impact.
Yeah. Every time I go there, a couple of my buddies are South Boca, Broward.
I try to explain to people it's a who's who basically in the community.
Yeah. I mean,
first
off, if you're vetted, you're meeting all the lawyers, you're meeting all the doctors,
judges, county commissioners, mayors, city council members, business owners, any of the major businesses around here that you can know of, they're there. Any of the major corporations that are headquartered here, they're there. The executives from that company are there. So it's a broad stroke. And that's why I try and tell people all the time. It's like, a friend of mine I ran into a couple of chiropractors, and I said, it's spread out further than that. You just need to get away from the distance that you were in, because there are all different businesses there. The only thing that you won't find there is other finance guys, because I don't allow that.
Understandable. It's your
Why would I want to try and help
your
them?
game, your rules.
Yeah.
As you're allowed to. Have you thought has there ever been a time where you're like, I can't do this anymore, I got to shut this down?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm asking, because there might be people seeing this.
Oh yeah.
In another part of the country, they're like, "Oh,
Listen,
I like that. I want to."
There's a lot of things that go on here. I have been in divorce decrees, written in, who can attend and who can't.
What?
Yeah, let's go. Wait. Let me, before I get to your answer. So there's been 6 weddings from my event. There's been, I think, 12 children from my event, and then there's
from people meeting at your event, and then and then there's divorces.
And then there's divorces. I didn't want to say it.
From people who have met.
Yeah, there's things that happen. Sometimes the hotel that I have it at gets extra rooms. I'm not going to say anything else other than that. Well, just leave it at that, please. But it's been written in divorce decrees where the husband and wife were coming to the event, and then it had to be written in who can go when. And so what I'm trying to get at, there's a lot of aggravation too when you host it. Okay, I'm trying to take care of everybody. I'm trying to make the location happy.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make everybody else happy.
And you can't when there's hundreds of human beings.
Yeah, I've had to escort people off the property. We've had to get police involved a number of times. There's things that go on in the background that people don't see.
Right.
And because I don't want you to see it. I want you to have the greatest time.
Yeah.
You come there, you don't worry, and you just meet a bunch of people. You have a great experience, and you leave going, man, it was great. But what you don't know is what's going on in the back end.
Yep.
And so it is it's labor intensive, okay, leading up. It's stressful. I try not to show it, but I wear my heart on my sleeve, so people know, and you can tell when you first get there, but there's a lot of work. So if you're going to try and build this over time, I will tell you, get a team that you're comfortable with, know what you're trying to do, and make sure you're doing it with the right people.
But obviously highly rewarding to you, or you would not be doing it for this long.
Yeah, I'm not looking for the accolades, although it's very kind of them to give me this new award. It's very kind to be on the news. I don't like to publicly speak. I'm totally uncomfortable today,
Right.
right? I like to be the guy in the background.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. But what makes me tick is to watch you and everybody else be successful because I know that I made an impact.
Yep.
I don't need you to tell me. I know I did, and that makes me feel good in my heart. And then I know I'm doing the right thing. I'm trying to set my family up correctly and all of our families. So we have a really good community.
Yeah.
Because I remember back to that day of being a junior in high school and going, oh, I feel sad to live here. I'm ashamed. I don't ever want to feel that way again.
Yeah. We are in paradise.
We are.
Crowded paradise, right?
It's getting crowded,
We-
busier and busier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are in paradise though. Any super really funny or memorable things that
There's been some really cool things that have happened. There's been a bunch of funny things. I have a picture of a guy. I don't think I showed it to you. I didn't show it to you yet. He had a little too much to drink this last event, so he's face planted into the couch there. So that's funny.
Oh, just the other night?
There's a lot of stuff that goes on, a lot of drama that people don't know about, a lot of art, things that, when you have 500 people, there are some people who.
And
have
we're
some
in
issues.
injury, so it's heavily personal injury. So there's a lot of competition. And
It's competition. There's
yeah.
egos. I have to work all around that. But we've been fortunate enough that sometimes our events coincide with some other events going on. So I got a couple of funny stories that you'll like real quick. So there was one event that was going on that was Joe Namath had his golf tournament going on. So all the football players kept asking, what's this big room? Why are these 500 people here? And so LT came and hung with us, sat down, ate.
Was that last year?
It was
I think
last
I saw
year.
a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he stayed with us for about 3.5 hours. And people were just taking pictures
That's
with him.
awesome.
We've had Jim Kelly, Nick Saban was there. That was interesting because my daughter, who does the desk where you first sign in and has name tags, and Nick Saban walks in, he's looking for his name tag, and he can't find his name tag. I mean, him and his wife, and my daughter's calling me on the phone saying, you need to come over here. This gentleman can't find his name tag, and he said he registered. So I come over to the desk, and then his head's down. I can't see who it is, and he pops up, and I start busting out laughing. And I said, no, you didn't register for this, Mr. Saban. I'm sorry. And I escort him to where he has to go. And I go back to my daughter, and she's like, yeah, I asked him what his name was. And I just started laughing because I'm like, baby, he's very famous. He's a football coach. And now I show her the commercials he's actually on.
Yeah.
So that was hilarious. I felt bad for him. And I felt bad for her because she's like, your name's Nick Saban? Okay, let me look for it, not realizing who he was. We've had a bunch of interesting things happen over time that are pretty funny. Just interesting in the fact that certain people met people that they didn't know that they were going to meet
Through your things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fun. You come there, you don't know who you're going to see. So
Right.
it could be Joe Namath, it could be Nick Saban.
Yeah, because it's at we got to wrap up, but it's at PGA National Resort.
Yep.
Beautiful golf course. That's where it was the Honda Classic. What's it called?
It's
now?
I can't even. You're
Something-
asking a wrong
yeah.
person to say.
I'm
told
not a
you.
golf guy, but they have world-class golf there. And every now and then when you have your event, there's always sometimes someone famous roaming the halls that isn't even
Yeah,
sometimes
the
not even
coolest
there
one
yet.
for me was I got to meet Ed Reed, Warren Sapp. So they had FSU and University of Miami football players walking through. So Jameis Winston at that time was walking through, and I'm not an FSU guy, I'm a Miami guy. So I grabbed Ed Reed and I grabbed Warren Sapp. It was really, really cool. So every time you come, there's somebody in that grouping. But we just had Vince Papale, who was in the movie Invincible.
Mhm.
He was at my event for me. So, like I said, there's just more connections, and as more and more people move into this community,
Right.
I'm going to start bringing more and more people out
Nice.
that you're going to probably want, and they're different. So it's
Yep.
great to meet.
Well, keep up the good work, my friend. You're doing big things here. I always am trying to get people to go out and do the face-to-face stuff and try to get them to go to your event so they can kind of see what a legit networking event is, and one that's tied to a good cause as well, because we want to help people out in our community who are less fortunate than us. I always appreciate you as a friend. You are a very humble, kind person, and you are always looking to help out people and try to make connections. And I do appreciate that. For somebody who may want to attend your event, who's local here, or who may want to talk to you about potentially hiring you to manage their wealth, or they just have questions about networking in general, how can people get in touch with you?
You can reach me by my company email, which is vcuomo, Cuomo, at pursuitwealth.com.
Okay,
Best
cool.
way to get a hold of me.
Well, my friend, third time's a charm. We made it.
I hear knocking. I wonder if they're working on the roof right now.
That one just died. They had to come back and patch one more.
I think it's hilarious that no matter what I try to do, there's always something that happens that's very interesting. So
yeah, when I had to do it the second time, we had to cancel the second time, I wanted to send you the pictures of the guys on the scaffolding because I'm like, you're not going to believe this.
I trust you.
Yeah.
Friend.
All right. Well, this has been fun, man. I do appreciate your time and coming down
I
here.
really want to thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry I'm not the best speaker, and I'm sorry I'm nervous, but hopefully somebody can get something out of what we talked about. And if you have more questions about networking or speaking or coming to one of my events, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to always help everyone. And if you're a nonprofit that needs some help or some direction and want something different to look at for networking, you feel free to email me also.
Awesome. Forgot about that point. You're right. Can always help
the community, my friend. That's what we're here for.
Yep. Cool.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.